Don, what's it like for you to give Biro a chance here, given the way he played in the preseason?
For Biro, he had a very good preseason, but it's way more than the preseason. This is a guy that we multiple times last year were ready to call him up, and he was not healthy. He was injured in Rochester. So he had a very good first game with us. We were excited to get him back a couple of different times, and the timing was off for him. So comes into camp this year as a great camp, and now we have a roster spot. We are going to use the roster spot that we have, and we'll put him right in the lineup as a result of everything I just said. It's an opportunity when you have a roster spot to look at players that we've been, obviously he's in our organization. We've been watching him and tracking him and his progress. And when we sent him down, it was because we didn't have a roster spot. You have limited opportunity. So unfortunately he went down, and now we get an opportunity to take a further look at him and get him integrated, which we're excited about.
Now, what is it about his game that you like?
There's a lot to his game to like. Very, very talented kid, player, skilled, evasive, intelligent, slippery, as you know, it goes hand in hand with evasive. He can make plays with skilled players. He can play right wing, left wing, center. He's done well in all three spots. But I think that the real exciting thing for me is he complements other players. He's the type of player you put on the ice, and he enhances those around him because of his compete and his intelligence.
As far as that goes, I mean, he's gonna get a break here to heal. But just what do you want him to take out of having a little time off the ice but still being in the NHL, I guess?
Well, you're going to absorb things differently when you can have an opportunity, and it is an opportunity to step back. You take, as an 18-year-old player coming into your first NHL first season, everything's a first. Everything is brand new. Going to Philadelphia is brand new for him today, which he'll make the trip with us for that reason, to take things in. And so now you'll be able to, you can only take so much in at a time. So he doesn't have the responsibility of playing tomorrow night, but he can take in other things that will really help him.
As far as Casey Mittelstadt goes, it was a year ago that he was producing, but it was almost exclusively on the power play. And now you go back to late last season to now, he's one of the league's leaders in even strength points. I guess it's kind of a broad question, but how has he gone from one extreme to the other? What's happened in that time that's led to him, being, so productive, I guess?
Well, you know me, I'm not surprised of that. And I've said that, this is a guy that I thought people were underrating 2 years ago, and just time. He needed time. It takes time to develop, and you have to stand by your guys until they do. And he was putting the work in. None of this is a surprise, and you guys know it because I stood every day and said he is putting the work in, and he's talented. And the work that he put in 2 years ago and further is paying dividends now. It's the NHL. It doesn't happen overnight. We're talking a moment ago about Zach Benson. You need to acquire experience, and think of anybody that holds a position. The value of your experience is incredible, and Casey's gained that experience over the last couple of years, and now it's complements his talent that he always had, and it's a lot of fun to watch.
What's the value he gets from getting to watch some games here while getting over what was ailing him?
Well, I think it was, I think he took advantage of the opportunity to step back, Levi, that is. And today was his first full practice. So I think it's, give him a little time, but I know he'll come back better as a result of, anything that's thrown at him. And in this case, he had to deal with an injury. And he's one that the power of observation is in his favor. He takes in a lot of information, and it makes him better. That's why he's so advanced at his age already.
He watched last year when he got here before he played a game. How much different and how much more valuable is it now that he's on the team, he's played, and now he's watched a little as an NHL player as opposed to just waiting for his debut to happen?
Yeah, he's able to gain a different perspective now. Being an NHL player, the perspective he had as a college athlete was interesting, and he shared some with me when we were in the 2 shootouts, I think, with the Rangers at the end of the year. He was in both of them, and I asked him after the game about the players, Panarin and Kane, and on and on. And he spoke to me about how many times he's watched them. So he had a feel for their options ahead of time. And again, that's a guy that's not even in the league, but studying what a shooter in the NHL has for options and what he's showing you and then selecting. So he was extremely confident in both of those shootouts against the Rangers last year from the studying it before he got to the NHL. Now he's in the NHL and he can study it a different way. You're out facing Tage Thompson's shot every day. And the creativity of Jeff Skinner and on and on. So he gets better every day.
Don, you can't mandate safety, and I understand that this is in light of the tragedy that happened in England. Just what are your thoughts overall in your experiences of neck guards or just player safety, and whether you want to weigh in on that or not?
Well, the first thing I'll say, John, is my thoughts and our entire organizations go to Adam Johnson's family, and certainly the tragic incident that happened that is awful. And when it comes to player safety, everything we do can be considered dangerous in anything, but we're an organization, I think, from top to bottom that supports the players, and in the sense that, if there's something they feel need or whatever, we certainly would hope they would talk to us about it, and then we could do whatever and that's my approach. So if you're asking me about player safety, I think it is a major priority within this organization. I also think it's a major priority within the NHL. They've taken lots of initiatives, and very serious. We see that with just information that comes to us from the league on various safety issues through the season, before the season, videos that come out that we watch. So, it's going to continue. Unfortunately, you play a sport that's the high pace that it is, and accidents happen, inadvertent things happen that are scary. And I think the league is in a very progressive mindset with respect to these things, and I know I'm comfortable with that they're there, and the players' communication.
To your knowledge, does the equipment staff have cut resist, like the turtlenecks or anything like that? Because I know Seth mentioned yesterday that Rochester, they just ordered some because they only had a few. That
doesn't fall under my coaching. These guys are hired professionals, and I don't say that, but they're experts, the equipment guys. So I'm sure they have. I'm confident that they have. I don't know what's out there, but I'm sure they have everything back there that a player could ask for.
Do you expect Devon Levi, he'll have more practice time and to be ready to play, get some games in maybe on the weekend?
I'll find out more right now, Paul, see how he felt after practice. But based on practice, it looked like he's back. Obviously, he was in full practice, so we wanted to rest that till it resolved. So, but I'll get more information, and my decisions and stuff that Kevin and I will talk about it and kind of frame that now that we finished the first skate here.
Anything that he did in the first 4 games or that you've seen from the goalies as a whole kind of change how you might handle Devon's workload when he does get back?
Not anything that comes to mind. As I mentioned before, we wanted to get Devon and thrust him in there with a lot of games and get that challenge of a bit of a grind. And for the reason that I think he's going to just gain an immense amount of experience in that to help him better gauge what he needs to do to get himself ready for such a grind. So that said, I don't know how he's come out of that. But we'll watch and see. I think he's capable of playing a lot of hockey. And I think that was a good stretch for him to get into, to see the intensity of that the first week. And it's tough on goalies, as I mentioned earlier, the first 10, 15 games of all NHL teams, because there's a lot of hockey in the NHL that's not real efficient yet, and that's a tough one on goaltenders. So, as team systems smooth out, life gets a little bit more consistent. There's more consistent patterns in the game for these goaltenders, and I think that helps all guys in the league too.